Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, your success strategist and the CEO of Global Innovation Strategies. Today, we are talking about something so important, and that is closing the trust gap, because it is indeed the hidden multiplier of sustainable success. So welcome back, leaders, entrepreneurs, executives. We've been on quite a journey together in this Spotlight on Success series for 2025. Over the last 39 weeks, we've navigated the terrain of decision velocity, explored the power of legacy leverage, mastered copilot leadership, and built scalable playbooks that make growth repeatable. Each step has been about building clarity, alignment, and executional excellence. Now in week 40, we turn towards one of the most pressing yet often invisible challenges in leadership today, and that is trust. Innovation, AI, digital scaling, global expansion, all of these are extraordinary opportunities. But the truth is, none of them are sustainable unless they are powered by trust. Trust is the basic multiplier that converts vision into velocity, strategy into sustained results, and leadership into legacy. This week, I invite you to sit down with your board, with your leadership team, with yourself, and ponder a hard but vital question. Do you and your teams trust your clarity, your consistency, and your level of care enough to follow you into the next gap of the unknown? Because in times of disruption, what determines whether people follow is not the brilliance of your plan. It's the depth of their trust in you. So why is trust the opportunity of this decade? Well, in moments of disruption, talent, investors and customers rarely begin by asking about your products or your profits. Instead, they ask, sometimes implicitly and silently, and sometimes explicitly and outright, do I trust you? Because trust is the cornerstone of resilience. Gallup data shows that organizations with high trust leaders are 2.5 times more likely to be high performing and significantly more likely to retain top talent during periods of uncertainty. But trust is not an abstract concept. It is built through two invisible gears in what I call the credibility engine, and that is trustworthiness and expertise. Trustworthiness is about integrity, follow through, and transparency. This is about doing what you said you'd do, even when no one you think is watching. Expertise. This is more about your competence, clarity, and consistently delivering results. This is about demonstrating not just that you care, but that you're capable. When either of these gears slip, say your integrity feels compromised or your expertise doesn't inspire confidence, the whole engine stalls out. And when that happens, even the best strategy can get stuck in the mud. But when both gears are aligned, trust becomes the invisible fuel that propels teams forward with speed, conviction, and energy. So, a prompt for your leadership reflection. Where in your journey might have you felt momentum slowing down? Not because your skills weren't up to par, but because the trust wasn't. So let's audit your credibility engine. Before you can scale trust, you need to measure it. And here's how. The trust audit you can undertake this week is to ask 3 peers or direct reports, or even your clients if you have that great of a relationship. 2 simple but powerful questions. What do you count on me for without hesitation? And secondarily is, where might you hesitate to count on me and why? In your expertise audit area, map out your top 3 measurable results in the past 12 months. Then ask yourself, how visibly have I shared these out? Often trust in expertise is lost not because the work isn't done, but because it isn't being seen by those who would value it the most. Ultimately, trust is perception, not only intention. It doesn't matter how trustworthy or competent you believe you are. What matters most is how others experience you. Pro tip, schedule your audits quarterly, just like performance reviews, because trust requires maintenance. So let's close the gap with rituals. Trust gaps often show up in small, repeated cracks, and rituals can be the glue that close those gaps. So we have a clarity ritual. Every week, share a rhythm of here's what's changing, here's what's not. By anchoring certainty, you remove the fog that feeds distrust. Consistency rituals always close decision loops. No dangling, I'll get back to you left unanswered. Silence breeds suspicion. Clarity builds confidence. And lastly, care rituals, because every team sync, you can celebrate at least one win, not just about performance, but with regard to the person behind the performance. People trust leaders who see them as humans, not just producers. So a global medtech company introduced a 10-minute clarity ritual every Monday. The results, a 30% reduction in voluntary turnover within 9 months. Why? Because ambiguity, not workload, had been the primary source of burnout and disengagement. So my prompt for you as leaders, what ritual, clarity, consistency, or care does your team need most right now? So let's help build trust at scale systems, because trust cannot rely on charisma alone. To endure, it must be embedded within systems. Codify decision guardrails. As we learned in week 34, decision clarity prevents misalignment and, most of all, blame and finger pointing. Share team playbooks. Week 35 showed us how codifying workflows gives everyone visibility into the how and reduces hidden friction. Run resilience drills. Week 33 demonstrated that stress-tested teams don't break trust when pressure rises, they reinforce it. And lastly, anchor in AI use. Define those green, yellow, and red zones for technology decisions. Trust collapses when people fear being replaced or blindsided by automation. Trust is not just a feeling. It's reinforced by visible systems that show people they are safe, seen, and being set up to succeed. So trust is truly the multiplier. Let's look at a multinational engineering firm that recently rolled out a digital transformation initiative. The technology was not radically new, but their trust-based approach was. What did they have? Transparency dashboards definitely reduced rumors by making performance data available to all. Leadership listening tours, creating safe spaces for feedback and accelerating adoption. And lastly, public commitments to taking actions. Leaders followed through visibly, creating measurable credibility. The outcome? Adoption rates doubled compared to prior transformation efforts. The difference wasn't in the technology, it was ultimately in the trust. What transformation might you and your leadership team be driving now? And how could trust be the force multiplier? So here's your mission for this next week, should you accept it. Run a credibility audit with 3 peers or reports. Choose one ritual, clarity, consistency, or care to implement with your team immediately. And share openly with your team. Here's how I want to close the trust gap with each of you. Post your reflections using hashtag spotlight on success and tag a leader you deeply trust. Trust isn't soft. It's ultimately structural. It's the foundation under every decision, every playbook, and every innovation we've built together over these 40 weeks. So pause and reflect. Where do I need to rebuild or deepen trust? Which ritual will multiply trust across my team? And what will I be remembered for? My output or the trust that made those outputs possible? Closing thought for today. Leaders, the future belongs to those who can pair speed and scale with deep trust, because trust is the hidden multiplier, the force that turns good into great and great into lasting. Again, this is Dr. Rhonda Farrell, your success strategist, the CEO of Global Innovation Strategies, winding down week 40 of Spotlight on Success, closing the trust gap, the hidden multiplier of sustainable success.